right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the War Eagle War Room. I'm Coleman, and with me is Baxter. And today we are going to be breaking down Auburn's wins against Kentucky and Missouri, and we're going to be talking about what the future has in store for Auburn basketball in this season. I think the best place to go ahead and start is the fact that we are ranked number one for the first time ever in school history. Baxter, what do you think about that?
What a feeling.
I know.
I'm still not over it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. What makes me mad, what Kentucky's tried to take away from it, and I'm not going to let them do it. They've tried to act like that all of this was about them, like all the celebration and stuff, all the people jumping off of like statues and pole lights down at Toomers. This is because we're ranked number one, not because we beat Kentucky.
And that's why the basketball team ran over to the football players after the game.
Yeah.
Because the football players did that to the basketball players during football season, so they just returned the favor.
And I saw that too, where they were talking about like, it must be y'all's national championship if y'all are celebrating, have your shirts off and
somebody called it the Super Bowl. I was like, what are y'all talking about?
Did Calipari talk about that?
Probably. He had a lot to say about it. It didn't make any sense. He was just salty.
He's talked about literally anything and everything after this game possible, but Auburn down by around 10-something at one point to Kentucky. They have Ty Washington go down with about 10 minutes left in that first half. I don't remember the score, but we were close. We were within like 6. We may have even had cut it to 4 by that point, that when Ty went down. And he made a shot as he left to put them back up by 6 is what I think happened. But I don't know.
Was it a knee or ankle?
It was an ankle injury. He landed on Sheboy's foot, and so they tried to
act. They never showed at the arena what happened.
Yeah, they tried to act like that we injured him. We did not injure Ty Washington. He jumped on his own player's foot. So you can throw that out of the excuse pool too. And we're both.
I don't even think we're
both watching Kentucky.
I don't think we injured Wheeler either.
No, I don't think we injured that.
Kessler was a brick wall standing there.
And
Wheeler, that's on Kentucky. You got to communicate that he's standing there.
To be fair, Sheboy can barely speak English, and Sheboy's guy is Walker Kessler. And so
okay, but the coaches were right in front of it.
You got to be able to yell out something. So
that place was loud. It was probably hard to hear.
It's on Kentucky no matter what happened there. And
they want to say that we injured him because of the picks or whatever, but the same thing happened to Bryce Brown in the SEC tournament.
I remember this. He got rocked off the screen.
Because nobody wanted to communicate that there was a pick right there.
I remember Bryce getting drilled. And
then Calipari wanted to come out after the game and say, I think we should ban screens from basketball. What?
Didn't Sevier do that too against LSU also?
Something like that. I think I remember. I watched that game. Yeah,
they showed a highlight. I know you were at the game, but they showed a highlight mid-game right after that happened of Sevier just like getting hammered by like.
Was it the Kentucky at LSU game?
Something like that. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I remember watching that one on TV.
I feel like I may have watched that as well because I remember watching it on TV, but I definitely saw
it was after the South Carolina game.
Yes. Yeah. He was around midcourt or something like that, and Eason just set like a massive screen and just watched Mississippi State tie Kentucky in the background. But so the day we're recording this, we don't know who wins this, but go Dogs.
Well, that's on the coaches as much as it is the players.
Yeah, and if it's happened multiple games, and it happens twice inside of one game, and one of them, they called a foul on Walker Kessler. If anything, it's just because he's not like 6'1" or whatever that he didn't get in a charge there. It's because he's 7'1". So he had legal guarding position, just didn't move when he got like ran into. I think that should have been a charge, just he didn't flop or try to sell anything.
But that game was the loudest Auburn basketball game I've ever been to.
Really?
Easily the I don't know about easily the loudest, but easily the most packed I have seen Auburn Arena.
You could tell from the stands. They showed like a clip of like the whole arena, and you saw people like standing in the upper.
Standing room only was packed.
Yeah,
And the scholarship section is normally not. There's normally a bunch of empty seats, even for the Kentucky games in the past.
yeah.
But the scholarship section was packed for this game.
There was like I looked on like StubHub. I wasn't gonna go just to see what the tickets and stuff were, and it was like $700 tickets, and there was only like 6 of them left, and they were for like near the standing room only areas.
Yeah, I mean, I had a free ticket, but I was like, let's just see what StubHub's looking like. You could buy a standing room only ticket for 300 or 350, or you could buy a standing room only in the same area for 1,500. I'm like, why would I buy 1,500 if I can buy 300 right here with it?
Same quality seats, like $800 different dollars in
I mean,
price.
it's not like you're standing room only, but you're the second row of standing room only.
Yeah. I just think that it's really amazing, honestly, what Auburn's done under Bruce Pearl to turn it around from having nobody show up for a basketball games to having Pearlville before a game. You spent the night at Pearlville. What was that?
Jungle City, not Pearlville.
Jungle City. Bruce didn't like Pearlville. I like Pearlville better. And
I do too.
I think everybody likes Pearlville better, and I think that's what's going to stick. But
Bruce's first 3 seasons, we went 44 and 54.
yeah.
The last 5, 112 and 39.
And that's just due to, I think, honestly, just Auburn as a whole, letting the coach get his feet under him at the university. I mean, Bruce has done this in the past. He had some weird recruiting infractions at Tennessee that led to him getting fired and stuff, but he's had built a team there, whether he was recruiting with barbecues or not. And so he's done it other places that, what is it? Wisconsin, Milwaukee, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Southern Illinois.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
I know he was the number one. He had the number 1 ranking and won a national championship at Southern Illinois, who we played earlier this year.
Yep. He's gone
it was somewhere. Yeah, he did coach in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or something
like that. And I think they made the tournament like 2 or 3 of the years.
And I know this is basketball only, but I just want to make this comment. I think if you give Harsin more years, just like you giving Bruce, I think you'll see the same results.
Yep.
Okay, now we're done with football.
Yeah. But
we'll talk football in a different one.
I agree 100% with that. And so it shows that once you let somebody get their feet under them, let them get their recruits and stuff in like that, and just let them set a culture up. You can't set a culture up in the 3 seasons. It shows 44.
You put Bruce as head coach right after Tony Barbie, who could not recruit to save his life.
No.
Yet he was always out recruiting when Auburn and Kentucky played.
And
not sure who he was recruiting.
Probably recruiting for Kentucky. Isn't he still on staff? Is he still on staff?
No, he's at Central Michigan now.
He's probably recruiting for Kentucky at Central Michigan. But
if he would have been a coach for that game Saturday, oh man, it would have been fun.
I really wish that he had been. The students' Twitter.
I mean, we booed Calipari good enough that it was bad.
Speaking of fans booing coaches, did you hear the
Bruce, you suck?
Yeah, Bruce, you suck tonight.
While we have a player injured on the ground, wow, that's real classy.
Yeah, it's like at least Auburn wasn't chanting Calipari, you suck, while Ty was hurt.
No, we were. Everybody was cheering, and those of us that knew what was happening were trying to get the other ones to be quiet.
Yeah.
Which is hard when you've got about 1,500 students packed in there.
Yeah. And I think that we have the best home court advantage in the country. No,
as unbiased as I can be, easily the biggest home court advantage.
And it's honestly due to the way that the stadium was built, because we weren't built like we were like a massive. These other schools that have like the other blue bloods and whatever, they have these massive arenas and stuff because they had the money to do it. Auburn's basketball team, when we built this arena, what was it, 2012 or 2011? I think it was 12. It was the last
12, I think.
Yeah. And I've only been to it like 4 times.
But I think it also shows that all these transfers like Katie Johnson and Kessler that are coming here that played at Georgia or North Carolina
Yeah.
and have played in those tough environments, when they go out and say that this is the best home court advantage,
It
and
means
yes, they're on the team and they're trying to get the fans involved, but I think that also speaks for itself.
it has to mean something. I mean,
Well, and even Joe Burrow,
yeah,
Joe Burrow said that the SEC stadiums are louder than NFL stadiums, and he said Auburn in particular was louder.
yeah, and LSU is pretty loud itself too. But
Yeah, and he played at Ohio State, who played at Penn
yeah,
State and Michigan.
it just means more in the SEC. But I think the fact that we have a smaller stadium that wasn't built with us being like a blue blood in mind, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have like.
And I wish there was a way you could. I mean, you can renovate a football stadium pretty easily.
But
An arena, you can't really do that.
I don't know if we need it. It's big enough where we can get loud, and it's big enough to get people to pack it out. And I'd rather have a packed crowd that's loud than have empty seats. And so
I wish there would be. It's like people were saying on Twitter. I wish we could have one game at the Coliseum a year.
Yeah,
because it holds not a lot more, but it's a couple thousand more.
Beard Eves.
No, it's not as nice.
Yeah,
but
it would also be kind of cool just to pay homage to that whole.
I mean, I'd be scared the ceiling tiles might fall on me, but
yeah,
I've been in there since it's not.
What do they use it for now?
The team. I don't know if they still are there, but the Team USA handball used to practice there.
Team USA handball practices at Beard.
We were like the USA handball headquarters.
That's actually.
But I know wheelchair basketball practices in there now.
Aren't we like dominant at that too?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that I don't
know if they beat Bama, but a lot of the other teams did. I mean, basketball beat Bama, swimming beat Bama,
hockey beat Bama,
hockey club beat Bama.
They're all
some frisbee team beat Bama.
I saw that the other day too.
I was like, what?
And I saw some absurd tweet from a Bammer that was like, at this point, everybody doing it, it's not making fun of us anymore. Y'all are doing it because y'all like it or something like that. It's like, no, pretty sure we're still making fun of you every time that we do it.
They better hope that we don't beat them February 1st.
Oh my gosh.
It will be crazy.
Hey, look, we need to start this movement now. Every time that we shoot a free throw, everybody needs to do this, like while they're silent, and then do the hey you or whatever they do after it. But instead of putting the hands up and like doing the fingers like that, everybody just crane kick every single free throw.
Somebody's gonna have to get a picture of the jungle doing that after the game.
That's gonna be awesome. So
I'm not supposed to go, but I'm going.
What do you mean you're not supposed to go?
We have our church retreat that weekend. We have to have a negative COVID test before we go. And the youth director said to to stay away from crowds. Like he wants us as a staff to not even really be around each other that much. Well, here I am going and camping out for Kentucky, going to the Oklahoma game, and then going to go to the Bama game.
You're about to run the gauntlet.
I will say I'm not going to be for the Oklahoma game. I won't be in the student section. I'll be like 2 rows above the student section.
You've been like prominent in the student section on TV all year. How many times have you shown up on television?
Right now, I know of 2.
2. I feel like that I've heard
3.
Yeah, I would say there's
right now. I know of 3.
And you had a lot of screen time during that right after Cambridge's dunk. And I've even seen you in the highlight reels. So like watching like on YouTube and stuff, just the highlights.
I remember the LSU game. LSU?
There was one where you were like
LSU. I think
you were like
I've been to
something like that.
I think I've been to 3 of the last. I didn't go to the Georgia game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the other 3 of the last 4 home games I've been to, I think I was on TV for all 3. LSU game, they put me on TV like between free throws. Florida game was me raging over a foul that was a jump ball that was really a foul. Like everybody in the country knows that was a foul. And then the Cambridge dunk. Then Auburn Arena forget renovating the arena. We need to get better bleachers in the student section. You can't even jump on them without falling down 2 rows on top of somebody because they're so wobbly.
Maybe that's definitely the next upgrade then, because all we do is stand and jump. I wish, you know how
Like on the dunks, I jump up
bouncing at different different times. It looks awesome.
Like on that dunk that was the Cambridge dunk, I jumped up with him.
Really?
I knew that was about to happen. I knew he was going up for the dunk, and I jumped up with him.
So I've probably already said this on a podcast, but I play pickup basketball with people that
that you tried to play with Cambridge when the gym was closed.
Well, no, I've tried to play with Cambridge, but the people that I play pickup with, they literally graduated with Cambridge and played high school basketball with them. One of my friends said that he tried to throw a lob. He got benched for throwing a lob to Cambridge. Cambridge missed it. And it was late in the game. He threw a lob off backboard to him, and Cambridge missed it, and he got benched.
I'm not going to lie. I was expecting a better dunk from Cambridge on that one.
This past game?
The Kentucky game?
Oh, yeah. I wish that
I was on TV. I was expecting a better dunk.
I wish that I thought you were talking about this past game. Remember the transition from Wendell to Cambridge against Missouri?
Yeah.
Talking about
the one he made or the one he missed? He missed an alley-oop.
Yeah.
I'll give it to him.
He got up. It was full speed.
It was a hard one to make in transition.
And then I think Kessler got a follow, but I'm not sure if he got fouled or he just made the follow in general. UCLA.
I think he got fouled and then ended up making the follow, but it didn't count.
Moving on to the Missouri game, what do you think our biggest struggle was in that game?
Shooting.
We
shot 30%.
I agree with that. Just offensive scoring in general, and I got a little thing here. I want to see if you agree with this and if the people that listen agree with this. And I may clip this and put it on the Instagram too, because I feel like this is a solid take. Might not be. All right. So I put Auburn basketball takeaway. I said, we're not always dominant. And I did this during halftime. So I predicted the future of the second half. We're not always a dominant offensive team. In fact, we score a lot of at random points, if that makes sense. We have two main intentional ways of scoring, in my opinion, and that's through Kessler off screen and rolls. I think that's one way that we intentionally set up the score. I don't feel like that we shoot a lot of these threes intentionally, more as we just kind of come down and then somebody sees it, and Bruce has
a lot of threes today were settled threes.
Yeah, they were just because Bruce gives people green lights to shoot when they want. It wasn't like that we were intentionally
Cambridge needs a red light.
Oh, my gosh, yes,
like a bright red light. And my goodness.
You know who needs a red light, too, is Flanagan. I'm about sick of his game. Flanagan is –
I'll give him a yellow light.
Okay, we can proceed with – because he does make some jumpers every now and then.
His floater game is pretty good.
But tonight he was awful. Besides one shot
they all were. So
yeah, besides KD,
and Jabari was 2 for 15 or something. Like,
but we have two main ways of scoring through screen and rolls with Kessler. I think that's our main way that we score on offense. And whether it's Kessler doing the scoring or a pass off of it to somebody else that's an intentional setup shot for three, I'd consider that intentional. If it's a screen and we end up passing to somebody else for an open three. And then there's the Jabari mid-range that we're always gearing to set up. Those are the two ways that I feel like that we focus on trying to offense.
I agree with that. I think the flex action that we do with the 3 along the baseline and 2 up top.
Yeah.
That sets up a lot of it.
Yeah.
We can have Kessler come up and set a screen for Wendell. Wendell go around the screen, and then usually Jabari's in the corner. His defender will come in because there's nobody down low to help. So you've either got the lob to Kessler or you can dish it to the corner for Jabari. And Jabari in the corner is dangerous.
And that's our primary way of scoring on offense is through, and it's all with the Kessler screen and roll game. And then the
Yes.
secondary and then the second main way that we score is setting up Jabari down low, getting him not really down low, like mid, like high post.
His elbow jumper is pretty good. His
Jabari from
13
high
footer.
post. And so I put, let's see what I put. Then I said, so those are our two main ways of scoring. Then we have two main secondary ways of scoring through fast break opportunities. So our defense creates a fast break opportunity. I say I'm basically putting the four spots that how Auburn scores most of the time. The four.
Katie gets a steal.
And then we
goes
have
down
like 3-on-2 or
straight
something.
to the rim.
Yeah.
Gets a layup or a foul.
Through fast break opportunities. And then these are main ways. Now, not the only ways, but just the main way that we try and do it. So offensively, then the other way is we'll have green 3-pointers from Katie or Wendell that Bruce is greenlit. So I'd say that those I'd
even throw Jabari in there.
Well, yeah, but we've already accounted for Jabari in this with his scoring.
And
I guess Jabari can shoot. I'll throw him in there too. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think you can throw Jasper in there, but I don't think he looks to shoot the three.
He doesn't, and that's why I don't think.
But I think he has the green light.
He has the green light, but he just doesn't. And I wish he would shoot more. He's like really effective.
I think it's because his defense is way ahead of his offense.
Yeah,
his offense is coming along, but his defense is just ahead of his offense.
And so I'd throw KD, I'd throw Jabari in there. So, and then we have the kind of like ISO 3-pointers from KD, Wendell, and Jabari, where they kind of isolate themselves. They're not going to.
Flanagan likes to do it, but
Flanagan.
Okay,
He's
Flanagan
not making the main list. He's not making the main.
Well, yeah, I think on the main list too. Flanagan will try to dribble like the other three do, and like go between, act like he's about to shoot the three. They jump and he goes around them and dishes it into the inside. It happened tonight.
He started doing that recently, but tonight he tried doing it. I didn't see it work. Did you? I remember him throwing like 2 turnovers off of that.
Well, he tried it.
He tried
because it's one of our main reasons to score.
The far right corner to like do one of those ones where the ball like bounces and like flips backwards. Like he tried to put spin on it. It was
I remember he was about to shoot a 3 and the dude jumped and he didn't jump super high. He jumped enough to where he could still be on the ground.
And he
tried Flanagan went around him. No, he didn't pass it. He went around him and then dished it off.
I know. I don't remember this one.
I think that's who it was. I think it was Flanagan. May have been KD. I don't remember.
I'm still focused on the one where he was in the corner and from the right corner had it and tried to throw it like a head. And he had got the guy in the air and then went around him, and he threw a turnover. I saw him throw a turnover like twice. But against Florida and against not Florida, against Kentucky, he did a lot of that where he would drive inside and then dish it under. But
in which Flanagan scored the first couple of baskets anyway against Kentucky.
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think that he's a main way that we try to score offensively. I think he thinks he's a main way that we try to score.
I do remember there was a play where he was the
primary scorer.
No, the play was supposed to go through him, but Zepp didn't want it to. I think it was Zepp, maybe it was Wendell. But Bruce pointed to Flanagan, and whoever was running the point guard at the time looked at Flanagan and backed the ball up, and then Bruce emphasized to give it to Flanagan, and whoever, I don't remember, Zepp or Wendell, one of them, passed it to Flanagan, but he wasn't supposed to shoot it. He passed it to Flanagan, who passed it to Jabari, who then did his little dribble and turnaround fadeaway. And the ball, I think, rattled out. He didn't make it.
Probably so. I feel like I kind of know what you're talking about. Was Jabari on like one of the?
It was late in the second half.
And was it on the right side of the court, kind of?
Yeah, right in front of our bench.
Yeah, I kind of know which one you're talking. And they were terribly spaced over in that corner.
Yeah. And
Jabari had it like right here, and then did the fadeaway, and they were like right here and right here.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. But I'd say that any scoring outside of those 4 ways, kind of is just random points that like aren't like they're just what happened, because most of our points are with through the Kessler screen and roll, through Jabari high post, through fast break, and through 3-pointers from KD, Wendell, or Jabari. And then
I'd say that's the primary.
Anything else is just kind of like random bucket, like because a Flanigan possession isn't a possession that we like try and establish like all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of.
I think in last year, a Flanigan bucket would have been a primary way.
Yeah,
to score.
But because that we don't have to.
And I don't know if it's because we have playmakers that the other 4 positions, or if it's because he's still, I mean, he's not still coming off that injury. He's been back, I don't know, however many games.
Been back a while now.
But I don't know if it's because we already had the chemistry before and he's just being thrown in the lineup. I don't know what it is.
It kind of feels that way. I hate to admit it, but it kind of.
And his defense is solid.
Yeah. And I've always thought that he played very Isaac Okoro-ish. They both came in as freshmen, and I thought that
was the expectations for this year until he got hurt.
Was for him to be kind of not the main threat on offense, but somebody that you had to worry about leaving open and somebody that could get it. And if you bit on that 3, that he was going to drive and he was going to score. And he's just really struggled with that this year. And
I think it has a lot to do with his inconsistency of hitting the 3s.
Yeah, and I think it's just the chemistry with him out there, because he's not a massive spacer of the floor right now, because he's not really a threat to hit.
And I think, honestly, he's out there at the end of the games instead of Cambridge because of his defense, and they know from last year that he is a threat to score.
They can also trust him with the ball, even though I mentioned earlier that he's been kind of a threat to turn it over once he drives inside some. He's been like either a charge or like just kind of like dropping it and stuff. But Cambridge, you don't want Cambridge dribbling. You know what I'm saying? But we will take Cambridge rebounding. He had like 11 offensive.
Cambridge's offensive rebounding was amazing tonight.
Bounce man.
He played out of his mind on the boards tonight.
But so
huge reason why we won that game.
Massive. Him and Katie Johnson were the absolute stars of that game. But so any scoring outside of those 4 main ways, I'd say is just kind of a random bucket. And so I said, when you shut down Kessler, we typically, you shut down not Kessler in general, because we know that he's not the primary scorer, but when you shut down the Kessler screen and roll set,
which Missouri did very well tonight.
They did. We typically resort to Jabari from the high post, and Missouri. Well, I guess
I wouldn't say Missouri shut that down. I'd just say it was not Jabari's night.
It was Jabari. Yeah, I was about to say. So Jabari, they didn't do anything to stop.
He had plenty of open shots, and the shots he was taking are shots he normally makes.
Yeah, they were hard shots to make, no doubt. But those are the shots that we're used to seeing Jabari make. And so when you shut down the Kessler screen and roll, we typically resort to the Jabari high post. And if you shut down Jabari or Jabari shuts him down himself, that's when we go to the Katie Johnson and Wendell show and Jabari show of shooting those random 3s. You know what I'm talking about?
Or if you shut down Kessler and Jabari, that's when
the 3-point. That's when Katie's
okay. I'll say going to set off that flex action. You set the pick and roll. They shut it down. So Wendell, like they shut down the pick and roll lob. The defender comes over, but right before Wendell goes to pick up the ball to pass it, he cuts back over. Or normally, Katie dude will go to Jabari, and Wendell knows that, so he goes around and passes it back out to Katie, who puts up the 3.
Yeah. So I guess
that's where most of Katie's open 3s come from.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I agree because I know what you're talking about. Do we consider that a part of the Kessler screen and roll action though? Because the KD 3s I'm talking about aren't the ones where we've done that, where he's getting the catch and shoot 3 opportunity. It's been the ones that he's had to do lately where we've been shut down with the Kessler cuts and stuff. And so then it's just been him out there doing a bunch of that and then shooting with a hand like right in his face like that, where he's hitting and somebody's right there. You know what I'm saying? He hadn't been doing that at the beginning of the season, and that's just kind of happened lately where he's been kind of taking it himself and doing it himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
And so I think that once you've shut down the Kessler screen and roll thing, that's really when everything breaks down. If you can't get Jabari rolling off the turnaround back to the basket, because then now these threes that we get from that Kessler screen and roll, or KD, Wendell, and Jabari just shooting themselves, they work and are really good if we're hitting. But then on nights that we're not hitting, then this is where those stretches of us not scoring for a while come in. You agree? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, the thing was, our defense went lights out for a solid
Yep, and that's what
5-minute period where Missouri had 0 field goals for 5 minutes. Well, guess what? So did we.
And so
when our offense started to pick up, so did theirs.
And look, when we're not getting those fast break chances, also. So if we're getting shut down with Jabari and Kessler action, and then we're shooting threes and we're off like we were tonight, and then we're not getting these fast break chances because we're not getting blocks and steals, which there weren't a lot of blocks and steals tonight. It was more just rebounding, getting Missouri misses. And so there wasn't fast break. And so that was coming and having to try and set up these Jabari and Kessler things that weren't working. That means that we're either in a massive scoring drought or we're most likely trailing. And that's mainly been what it's been this year, where if all 4 of those options aren't cutting it, then we're either haven't scored in like the past 7 minutes or we're losing the ball game at that point. Not losing the whole game, but just trailing at that moment.
Yeah.
And so I'd say lots of times during these circumstances, our defense bails us out. And that's usually where
I'd say defense bails us out on the road. At home, the crowd gets us going.
Crowd, and if we get any dunk or anything.
Really, okay, I'll say the defense bails us out both times.
Because the fast break.
But when it's at home, defense bails us out, leads us into transition, fast break, or a transition 3.
It leads us to the offense.
Then the crowd gets louder every time until the timeout's
called. On the road, you get that defensive bailout, and then if we don't have that transition opportunity, then there's just no momentum, and we're back into something if we're not scoring of just the drought again. And so all of this to say that we're going to end up being really hard to beat altogether, because our defense leads to offense when we're not playing well. So at the end of the day, our defense, no matter if it's on the road or at home, our defense is going to be the anchor. And usually we have a good enough. Now it'll be scary if we're not able to do any of that stuff offensively, and our defense is getting scored on. And that's usually when we're trailing, because we saw that at the beginning of this game. They hit like 4 threes or something like that, and we were down by 10 because our offense wasn't playing good and our defense wasn't. But I think
tonight showed teams how to beat us.
How so?
Because they showed how to stop the pick and roll the whole game.
Yeah.
We didn't have a successful pick and roll.
Athletes to do it.
We didn't have a successful pick and roll until 3 minutes left in the game?
Kessler lob.
Yeah, 3 minutes left in the game?
It was ridiculous.
And then we didn't have another one after that. Well, we had the Cambridge alley-oop after that, but we didn't have another one after that.
But that was a fast break lob.
The Cambridge was?
The Cambridge one was like fast.
Yeah, break. It was. But I think that showed teams how to stop the pick and roll.
Yeah.
They didn't show how to stop Jabari. But I think teams have already done that.
Jabari stopped Jabari.
Yes, well, I'd say the rim stopped Jabari because a lot of those shots were about halfway and it came out.
You're right.
I mean, he did have a couple air balls or short shots, but
a
lot of those he should have made.
At some point, those will fall, and that tonight just wasn't his night with those rims, because
had this game been at home, we'll say had this game been at home and had been this close, Jabari would be on the court right now putting up extra shots. KD put up extra shots after the Kentucky game.
if it had ever at any point been that close, I told my friend I still thought that we'd end up winning by 10 because that's just usually kind of how we do. And that's how we've done. We didn't tonight, and it's just because the shots wouldn't fall. We were getting the looks that we usually get, and shots just weren't falling. But I think that we're really scary because of those four main ways. You can't stop all of them at all times. You see what I'm saying? Because it's basketball. These guys are college basketball athletes. They're going to hit these threes at some point. And we saw that tonight. We saw KD hit some threes and drive in and hit layups and stuff off fast break opportunities and off just him being himself. I think that he's really an X factor player on this team. You could say that about a lot of people, but in a different way than really anybody else is an X factor. I'd say KD is one.
I give Cambridge the X factor on the boards.
Yeah, tonight against Missouri tonight, he definitely. I think that without him, then nothing that KD did. He walked so KD could run, basically.
Yeah.
Auburn definitely loses if we don't get those rebounds because, I mean, he created more possessions. We could not stop them from just – for whatever reason, we couldn't stop them from driving and just making layups tonight or hitting threes.
Okay. Question. Wendell goes down with his knee contusion, as they came out and said. He doesn't come back in. Do we still win the game?
I think so. I don't think that we're like Kentucky and can't win without our best.
I don't know because I don't think that the Zepp Kessler connection is there like the Wendell's Kessler connection is there.
It's not there as much, but also where was Berman?
Now I almost wonder, does the offense change when Wendell's not out there and Zepp is?
The offense is much more through Jabari when
it's through Jabari and KD.
What?
I'd say it's through Jabari and KD.
Yeah.
When Wendell's not out there.
Jabari
when Wendell's out there, it's through everybody. I actually
still like the offense under Zepp though, because if he's really quick and he's able to pass it off, and then he can usually somehow be around the ball enough to get it back and shoot like a wide open three or jumper and nail it. And
okay, a couple weeks ago, me and you were talking, and we had agreed that Jalen Williams was probably the most underrated player on the team.
I forgot all about him.
Okay.
He hit some good shots tonight and missed some too.
I'm starting to sort of second guess that. I think Zepp is.
I'd say that he could be the most.
Zepp was the. Nobody's going to agree with this. Zepp was the X factor against Kentucky.
Explain.
He was plus 17 when he was on the court.
I agree.
He played 17 minutes too the whole game.
You can't disagree with stats. So I agree.
I mean, he was plus 17 and he played 17 minutes and he was plus 17.
I could agree. It'd either be I'd roll Kessler, but as the main reason why we won that game, Kessler just being able to outplay Sheboy. And
that's one of the reasons. I'm not saying Zepp was the main reason we won. I'm just saying he
was
had a huge role in that game. That gets overlooked.
I agree 100%. Zepp is the man, and his defense is harassing.
He picks up his pressure right as it. Sometimes he'll press the whole way down, but usually he picks up his pressure, his own ball pressure, right after they cross.
He's
that
like
court.
This at all times,
and he doesn't get fouls.
Somebody's lane, and he's just doing this right here and just moving his feet. He's like a crab. He looks like a crab playing defense.
And then when I'd say when Zepp and Cardwell are in the game together, they complement each other.
I think so too.
Because the other team, at least tonight, I noticed it tonight, they brought up their big man, picked Zepp. Dylan went to this side. The Missouri guard thought he had around the screen, and he went to do a spin move, and Cardwell was standing right there. And then he tried to cut back, and Zepp was there.
Yeah.
I've noticed it multiple times. Those two complement each other on defense.
And I think on offense, they work pretty well with each other because Zup's really fast and gets into the lane really quick, but doesn't want to go up and score with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so he's a threat to just kind of like pass it under. While with Wendell and Kessler, it's more of they're driving with each other. And then with Zepp, Kessler, Cardwell's already mainly down there. You know what I'm saying? And he just kind of dishes it off and inside to him.
I think you can make the argument for both Zepp and Jalen Williams being the most underrated player on the team.
Yes, I agree with you.
Just like Bruce has said multiple times, we have the best 4 spot in the country.
And what's it called? Jalen Williams and Jabari?
Yes.
No doubt.
I'd
take Jalen Williams over most power forwards in the SEC.
And you know who the third I don't know, is he? I don't know if the third depth person would be Chris Moore or not.
He would. He's a forward.
I don't know if he's a 3 or a 4.
He is not a 3. He is way too big and slow to be a 3.
You think so?
Yeah, he doesn't stretch it enough either. I'd say he's definitely – and speaking stretch, I'd take Stretch and Chris Moore over a lot of people in the SEC too, and they don't even get to play.
Yeah.
And I'd take Leor Berman. Leor Berman's the 3. I'd take Leor Berman over a lot of other people too.
Who is out with the foot injury right now.
Okay, that's where he's been. Because honestly, at this point, I may like Berman more than Flanagan. He's a better shooter, and he plays really solid defense.
Everyone wants to say that there's some people out there that hate on Leor. That think he's not. Leor
does that thing where he backs people down and is like able to get like these easy layups.
I don't know if it was the Florida game or the LSU game where he had, I think, the best plus minus on the team that game.
And against St. Louis, he was literally in with like a minute or something left, and we were trailing, and he hit
that corner three
or take the lead. I don't remember which one. And then
Wendell drove. Wendell could have hit the reverse layup, but he passed it to Leor for the open 3.
I went crazy when that happened. That was awesome.
While we talk, the number 3 team is on upset alert.
Yeah,
at halftime.
29. Let's see who we have the rest of the season. So moving forward with the rest of January is just this Auburn-Oklahoma game. What do you expect to see in that game? ESPN has an 87.4% chance Auburn wins.
I don't think it's as easy of a win as people think it will be.
I don't think so either. They're 12-7, and they got this big 6'10", 235 guy that averages 12 a game.
Not even that. We play in every game we play 9 or 10 guys. Our depth is the reason we win most of our games.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, in their big games, they play 9 players.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Normally, we win because we have the depth and the other teams don't.
The other teams are playing.
Not this game. I'm not saying we lose.
Oh, yeah.
When I say not this game, I don't mean we're losing because they have the same depth. I'm just saying I 100% think we have a lot better athletes than they do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we have number 10. We have number 1, 0, 10, and 13, and they don't.
They do not. Yeah. I agree with that take. Not going to score predict this game, but I think that Auburn will win. I'm not sure how. It could be a blowout. It could be a really close game, but I expect us to win.
And I like us a lot more than I do because it's at home. Like if we were on the road,
yeah,
I still like us, but I think it's a lot closer than it will be because it's at home.
Well, we have another home game on the February 1st after that against.
The first time when we went to T-Town, I was worried.
Yeah.
I was 50-50. I saw us losing that game, but I saw us winning that game.
And
I'm not worried. I
am
not worried. I am not worried about this game anymore. But I'm not worried about them.
because we're at home. If we were on the road, I'd still be a little bit
Well,
worried because they have a chance. They got players now. They just don't execute.
not only
They
because we're at
give
home.
JD Davidson's not that good. He needs
No,
less time. They'd be better off playing their other guys more and like
not. I don't like us just because we're at home. I like us because everybody they've shown how to beat them in many ways.
Kessler.
I mean, Missouri, yes, they almost beat us. Then they showed how to beat us, but they exposed Bama.
Yeah.
Every loss that they have been exposed.
Yeah. And their wins have been just that they were hitting shots and the other team wasn't.
And the only reason I question us winning is because it's Auburn, Alabama.
Yeah. We won that game against Missouri tonight. That wasn't a game that we were hitting shots and we just beat them by that. We actually went out and had to win that game.
We averaged 80.7 points a game. We scored 52.
Yeah. No, we scored 55.
55, that's right. Shooting 30%.
We won that game. There's a difference between beating a team. Alabama's beaten a lot of teams just because they've.
I don't know that I'd say we won. We escaped.
But escaped with a win. I'd say that's. I'd rather do that than just get. Because eventually you're shooting, and it's happened this year for Alabama. They're not going to be able to shoot their way out of some of these games, and Auburn was shoot their way out. So they have to find.
This reminds me.
I think when you have to find another way to do it, that classifies as winning a game. And we found
this game helps us in March and April.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, assuming we get to April. Helps us in March and April. I mean, yeah.
This is
depends what the brackets look like. Depends who the other.
Are we buying the Final Four tickets now?
I've already bought my SEC tournament tickets.
Where's the SEC tournament at this year?
Tampa, same arena we played South Florida at. Which is not South Florida Home Arena.
I wish it was up. It was in Nashville a few years ago. I don't
understand. It's been in Nashville all along. We may have gone to St. Louis once in between there, but it's been in Nashville all along. In Tampa this year, and we go back to Nashville for the next 5 years.
The one year it would have been like absolutely awesome for them to be here. I'd have been at every single game.
But I'm leave Wednesday, come back Sunday. So hopefully we make it to the championship game.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be a painful. But
just as long as it's not any of the teams I hate in the championship game, we'll be okay. But I mean, there's a great chance.
Kentucky, Bama, Georgia. That's the only teams I don't want to see.
You could have Georgia does not need to be thrown in that conversation.
Well, speaking of Georgia, that's the next team that we play after Alabama. So we both expect us to beat Oklahoma and then Bama.
Not only do we play them at Georgia.
Yeah. And
we better amp up that practice arena with a whole bunch of barking.
We're gonna have to. I think that we'll need to play better than we did it during stretches of this past Georgia game, because there was a time there at the beginning.
Our defense in the second half was not good.
And at like the beginning of the game, there was a little period there where we had no offense really, and it was like okay. And then just throughout the middle, we clicked and meshed. We can't play that way on the road, and we definitely don't want a repeat of this game. So, I guess
I don't see us playing this like we did tonight. I don't see that happening another game this year. I don't see Jabari going.
I don't think Jabari
2 for 15 the rest of the year.
That's not going to
the only games that I see us losing the rest of the year.
Okay.
At Tennessee.
Auburn at Arkansas. Here's an Auburn at Arkansas on the 8th. What do you think of this? Arkansas is a tricky one. You have to watch.
I haven't watched Arkansas this year, so I don't know.
I've watched like one of their games. They have that Note guy, averages 18 points a game. He's pretty good. I don't know what their big men are like. And so unless they have somebody that's agile enough and big enough to guard Jabari and Kessler, then I think that it's wraps. Now Texas A&M. After that, we have. But
hang on,
Texas A&M.
hang on. I just had a thought. Florida and Bama exposed how to stop Kessler.
Yeah.
They got him in foul trouble. He hadn't been in foul trouble since those two games. So we rebounded on that one. I see us rebounding after this game.
Yeah.
Not that we need a rebound. I mean, we won, but we definitely will. We will learn from this. The whole team.
Bruce will have them ready for Oklahoma.
All right. But no, I think it helps that the game's on Tuesday instead of Wednesday because we get 3 days to prepare for Oklahoma team that we're going to need the 3 days to prepare for because of their depth.
Yeah. That extra day for just more preparation and stuff like that, I think will definitely serve us well. So Arkansas, we have Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, A&M, Vanderbilt, Florida, Ole Miss, and Tennessee left. Those are all honestly the worst two out of those. Or
tell me the road games.
Okay, the road games. We got Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, and Tennessee. Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, Tennessee.
The only one out of that list that I am not concerned about is Georgia.
Yeah. I think
not Ole Miss. Florida is the one. I don't know. It's real close between Florida and Tennessee, which one I'm worried the most about.
Tennessee has that Ursos Plasevich guy that's a big dude.
No, you're wrong. Tennessee has Justin Powell.
He comes off the bench. He
plays like a solid 7 minutes a game.
I know.
Anyway.
He would have been like a key piece here, but I guess he's a key bench piece for Tennessee. Way to be homesick and get closer to home.
What's he, the Cambridge of this team, I guess?
Pretty much.
I think he'd have been playing over.
I think give me Leroy Berman and Cambridge all day over Powell. I'll take it.
Arkansas, I'm going to Bud Walton Arena every year.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if we go every year. But going there is never an easy task. Huh?
What's their coach's name? Eric Musselman or something like that?
Yeah, Musselman. But it's never an easy task.
They always give us problems, and it's always like a weird, difficult game.
They could be 0-12 in conference play going into this game, and we could get out of there with a 5-point win.
Yeah. And you can never count out we have Ole Miss at home, but you can't ever
that will help. You go into the pavilion, show that it's not easy to play there. It's something about those arenas. I don't know what it is. Ole Miss and Arkansas every year.
Their home court advantages are actual things, even though they don't ever talk about it.
The court themselves, not the fans.
Yeah, just playing there, we've always struggled. I mean, I think with Sharif, Auburn went 0-2 against, even though I guess they outplayed us at home, but still on the road going 0-2 against Ole Miss. That says something about what's their coach, Kermit. That's their coach's name, Kermit Davis.
Kermit Davis.
Yeah, they always give us a problem. We have Texas A&M.
Well, let me rank the ones on the road that I'm afraid of.
Okay, Georgia, Arkansas, Florida, Vols.
At the moment, now obviously this could change, but at the moment, Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas, Georgia. Just because the way Florida played us here.
Yeah. I think that I'm gonna
had that game not been that close, I would probably have Florida and Arkansas flipped. Tennessee right now, because of how good they're playing right now,
and Tennessee has a very solid home court advantage too. Like their fans actually show up out there.
Yes.
And so
granted, Bruce has won the last 6 in a row against them, but
yeah, we've absolutely dominated Tennessee recently, and it's been the greatest thing ever considering I live up here with Tennessee people all over me. And so the fact that year that we beat them, as the regular season, the Final Four year, the regular season ended, we beat them, and then we go and we beat them in the SEC championship, and probably like the greatest shooting performance in the history of Bryce Brown besides Kansas.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that Tennessee game that was here that Saturday, but we left because that started our spring break when we were in high school.
The one that was the last game of the
2019.
season? Yeah.
2019. That started our spring break, and we left to go to Hilton Head, South Carolina. That game was at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I said, Mom, can we stay back or at least let me drive over after the game?
Yeah, and just
like, no, we're leaving. She said, no, we're leaving Friday night. I was like, what the heck?
That was
I knew. I had no doubt in my mind we were going to win that game.
Oh, yeah. And was it?
I knew.
Tennessee was rated higher than we were, weren't they?
We weren't even ranked.
We weren't ranked at the time?
No, we were unranked.
We still had a solid record, I guess.
We had a solid record. We were like right outside the top 25, and Tennessee was like
15-4 A&M.
Tennessee was top 10, maybe top 5.
They had Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, Jordan Bone. Don't remember any of their other guys, but
I mean, I knew we were rolling at the time.
I had heard all week long at school about how, like, dude, Grant Williams is going to just – I was like, oh, my gosh.
Well, guess what? Grant Williams fouled out that game.
Chumo Kiki.
Grant Williams fouled out that game.
Yeah.
Admiral Schofield fouled out that game.
They literally couldn't do anything with us. Those two Tennessee games were probably two of my favorite Auburn basketball games ever. And I guess the rankings for my favorite Auburn basketball games ever start with like that KT Harrell Florida 3-point win in the SEC tournament.
LSU.
What? LSU, yeah.
Ooh.
And then did we played Florida after them or something, didn't we? Or did we not? I
think so, but I don't think we won that game.
I don't think we did either. I think I mixed them up.
Maybe we won and then got destroyed by Kentucky
in the SEC tournament. What year was that? I like that KT Harrell's on staff.
Yeah. I don't know, but I remember one year we got absolutely destroyed by Kentucky in the tournament.
Probably
worse than we did in 2019 at Kentucky.
Probably when they had like Bam and Bam Adebayo and what's his face, De'Aaron Fox and all of them.
That or it could have been Anthony Davis.
I know. I remember watching an Anthony Davis Auburn Kentucky game from like a hotel and like just wanted to turn it off. It was like 2012 or something, 2013.
Is that when they went like the whole year, like 32-1?
Yeah. Didn't they lose to UConn? They had that's next year. They had like Julius. Whenever UConn had Shabazz Napier. We're off topic. The only games I'm still scared for Texas A&M at home.
Okay, tell me the home games.
Bama, A&M, Vandy, Ole Miss.
All right. A&M at the top.
Vandy's a little bit, for whatever reason, like you don't know what they're going to do.
I got Scottie Pippen Jr., that's it.
Yeah. But I feel like you can't trust them to not randomly play you really hard and like.
Well, it's like Missouri plays us hard every year. Tonight was not because we were number one. Every year Missouri gives us trouble.
Yeah.
Occasionally Vanderbilt will. But I'd say this year I would like the games that worry me at home. A&M, Oklahoma, Bama, Ole Miss, Vandy.
I left 2 games off because I didn't click on March games. We still have Mississippi State on the road and South Carolina at home.
We end with South Carolina at home, right?
Yep.
I'm not worried about them. I'd put them below Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
They're the least worried I am.
Mississippi State can be – you don't know.
Okay, so A&M, Oklahoma, Bama, um, Mississippi State, Ole Miss,
Vandy.
Vandy, South Carolina. But that's as of today. Right
Yeah.
now, I think Mississippi State is playing better basketball than Ole Miss.
Hang on. We have Mississippi State on the road. On the
Oh, I thought you said at home.
No.
Okay, so then just take them
I
out.
made it sound like, yeah.
So on the road would be
On the road, we still have Georgia, Arkansas. That's gonna be and that's back-to-back road games too. That's gonna be a tough stretch. Georgia to Arkansas back-to-back.
okay, but we had Bama, Ole Miss back-to-back on the road.
You're right. But I think that Arkansas is better than Bama and Ole Miss. And Bama Ole Miss is kind of within the same area.
Because I haven't watched Arkansas this year,
yeah.
I'm just gonna say they're better than Ole Miss. I've seen Bama multiple times, and I haven't come up with a conclusion. I still think they're overrated, but you never know.
Let's put it this way.
They could go crazy like they did against us in Gonzaga and just start making everything.
Arkansas, Vanderbilt beat Arkansas 75-74, but Arkansas lost by 5 at Texas A&M, and then they beat Missouri at home 87-43.
To me, this is
they also beat LSU.
This might be confusing, but to me, basketball and baseball are a very similar sport. And the fact that basketball, whichever team decides to catch fire that night could win.
Yeah.
You could have the best athletes on the team but not make a shot. We'll figure that out tonight.
Jabari.
And you could be playing a team that's not that great, but they're making their shots, so they're going to win. Baseball, you could be the best team in the country, but you're not hitting the ball, then you're not going to win the game.
Well, look, Arkansas just beat Texas A&M this past Saturday in overtime. They blew out South Carolina. They beat LSU on the road. They blew out Missouri. They barely lost to A&M on the road, and they lost to Vanderbilt at home. They're confusing.
I haven't watched A&M, so I don't know.
I haven't watched A&M either, but I think that Arkansas is a team that Oklahoma beat Arkansas 88-66, though.
Did I watch that game?
And
I feel like I did watch that game.
Mississippi State also blew out Arkansas. It's been a weird year for every team. It's a very even year.
Okay, let me ask you this: if we lose another game this year, who do you see us losing to?
Honestly, I could see us losing to Arkansas. I think.
Is there a so-called trap game anywhere on the schedule?
I think Vanderbilt at home is a trap game. It's not a game that anybody really.
Who do we play before and after?
So before Vanderbilt, we play A&M, and after Vanderbilt, we play Florida. So we're gonna be, and so
that's to me. That's not as much of a trap game as Georgia was.
What this upcoming Georgia or the
past Georgia, because we came off of Ole Miss, who is a pretty talented team, and then we have the biggest matchup in Auburn Arena history coming up.
Yeah, and I think that on our minds could be assuming we beat A&M, we had just prepared big time for an A&M game. Whatever happens with that game, then we go into this Vanderbilt game with our eyes set on having to go at Florida and against a team that we knew that we slugged it out with last time that we played them. Won by 12, but it didn't feel like it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that we'll beat Tennessee on the road. I think Tennessee's really good, but I think that that's a game that we're going to be geared up for.
Here's my so-called hot take. We can lose. I think we can lose one SEC game. Obviously, if we win one SEC game, we still win the tournament or the regular season championship. But I'm just looking at Kentucky's upcoming schedule. They have to go to Tennessee. They have to play LSU again, but that's at home. And they have to go to Florida. They have Bama at home. So, I mean, now, yes, they play Kansas on Saturday, but that's not a conference game.
Yeah.
But I see Kentucky, who is second in the league right now, losing at least one more game. So really, we could lose 3 more games, assuming Kentucky loses another game, and A&M, who let me pull up their schedule real quick. Because Texas A&M has to play at Tennessee, LSU at home, at Auburn, Florida, and at Bama.
Well,
I see A&M losing. Huh?
Say it again.
At Bama, at Ole Miss, Florida at home, at Auburn, LSU at home, and at Tennessee. I see them losing one of those, 5 or 6 games I just mentioned.
I think there's 2 or 3 of them.
I was about to say I see them losing 2 or 3, and I see Kentucky losing one of theirs.
Kentucky lose two of theirs.
I see Kentucky beating LSU.
I do too, but I could also.
Didn't they beat them the first time? No, LSU won by 5. That's right. That was a weird ending.
I was about to say I could see LSU taking another win there.
Had the game be at LSU? Yes.
I just think
because it's at Kentucky, I'm not seeing it.
I think that this Auburn team is built to withstand like flex tape and flex seal. They can just take all the damage and like they just still hold up. We got 4 guys scoring in double digits. Kessler averages 10. Wendell averages 13. KD averages 13. Jabari averages 15. That's 4 guys you can go to at any time.
Okay. Unpopular opinion. Bama beats Kentucky.
I can see it. The way that
at Bama, 7 p.m. on ESPN.
Honestly,
I see Bama winning that game.
This sounds terrible, but for some reason I kind of want them to. I don't know. I can't stand. Of course, I hate Alabama way more than Kentucky basketball. But
here's my hot take for Kentucky season. Okay, that's my unpopular opinion. My hot take is they lose to Tennessee.
Kentucky?
I'm sticking to that one. My hot take is I can see them beating Bama, but I think they lose to Tennessee.
I also think
at Tennessee.
Yeah.
At Tennessee. I see them losing that one.
I could see them losing those 3 games, Bama, Tennessee, and LSU.
So does that mean that Auburn has the SEC regular season title in the bag right now?
Ooh. I
would.
Well, of course it's up to us.
I'd put a lot of money down on it.
Of course it's up to us since we're undefeated. And I think without help, honestly, we could run the table.
I've looked at our schedule. Well, according to, I think it was Ken Palm, we're projected to win out.
We should.
And that was before the Kentucky game.
Man, we double overtime, dude. We could have just had an undefeated basketball year. We're not even there.
Healthy Flanagan, we're undefeated right now.
No doubt. And we just have I at least have trashed Flanagan this entire podcast. But I agree. Flanagan's there. We couldn't stop. What was that guy's name? Momo Sonogo. Momo Sonogo. That guy was like the hook shot king. We could do nothing with him. But if we play them again, we guard Momo Sonogo a little bit better, and he doesn't hit 70 hook shots.
Oh, not even that.
If we're not in the Basketball game, and we're the fourth game of the year, and in Boca Raton or wherever we were at, Auburn
The
wins. Bahamas. I don't know where we were playing. We were doing something weird.
We're in Atlantis.
Yeah, battling for Atlantis. If we're not battling for Atlantis, we win that game. And Auburn, dadgum, could have ran the table, and then.
Okay, let's say we win that game. No, we already discussed that. Never mind.
What were you gonna say?
Do we win that tournament? But we discussed that in the last podcast.
I think we would have won that tournament. Did we say that?
I think so. I think so.
I remember it seems like
but I see us
the last
rest of the year.
I was asking if we were going to beat Nebraska.
Yeah.
And now we beat Kentucky and like LSU and Bama and are primed to maybe be undefeated.
I see us winning out. Now, you asked me this during the battle for Atlantis? No.
Barring,
I think realistically, right now.
Okay.
Realistically, forget the winning out. Realistically,
we lose.
I see us winning the SEC. I see us winning the SEC regular season. Realistically,
I do too.
Looking at our schedule, Kentucky's schedule, and A&M's schedule.
I don't think that there's a way that
the top three in the SEC right now.
I don't think that there's a way that we lose more than 2 games.
No.
And I don't know
unless injuries happen.
And I'm saying barring no injuries, there's no way we should win out, but there's no way that we lose more than 2. But I think that we should win out barring no injuries. Now, if Wendell does go down, I say that we lose about 3 or 4 games left. But I still think that do we lose 3 or 4 if Wendell was hurt for the rest of the season?
No.
I think we only may still lose 2.
I say 2 or 3.
Because other guys step up. Flanagan's literally played point guard before. We have.
To me, he's better at point guard than where he is right now.
Honestly, but I think that we do win out and that we're SEC champions, and I think that we're the team that you don't want to. Well, I guess of course we are. We're number 1, but we're the team you don't want to play in the SEC tournament also. Okay.
Last question before we wrap this up. Who is the most impactful on the team right now, Jabari or Kessler?
Kessler.
You think so?
I think Jabari is the best player on the team, but I think Kessler, blocks wise, rebounds wise, and honestly, our primary offense is through the Kessler screen and roll, not through. And it was that way with Austin Wiley too. We would screen Austin Wiley literally every single play.
Here's my counter argument to that. We don't beat Bama.
You're right.
Without Jabari.
That's 1 game though.
We don't beat Bama. We don't beat Florida without Jabari.
You're right. That's 2 games. We don't beat St. Louis without Jabari. That's 3 games. See, but this.
And I'm not saying Jabari's better. Here's my thing.
Of course, Jabari's the better player. Jabari's the number 1 draft.
Or not better player. I'm not saying Jabari is the most impactful, and I'm not saying Kessler is. I'm saying
Green has his.
I think it's down to those 2. I think it's down to Jabari and Kessler.
I do too, but I think
Wendell is an X factor, yes, but I don't think I think the top 2 most impactful are Jabari and Kessler.
I think that Wendell is at least deserving of being in the conversation. I don't.
He is.
I don't think he is. I think he'd be 3rd, but you could make an argument, and I could understand it.
We don't beat half these teams without Wendell.
Yeah.
But if I want a late game, if the game is tied, now forget tonight's game. If the game is tied and I need a shot late in the game, I'm going to Jabari.
Yeah.
I'm not giving the ball inside to Kessler.
Hey, guess who's going to be there to clean up Jabari's shot when he misses?
No. I'm saying I'm not giving the ball inside to Kessler to try to get something happen.
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm giving the ball to Jabari, and Jabari can go anywhere on the floor. It doesn't have to be a 3. He can go inside.
Jabari, but the fact that Kessler's down there rebounding, no matter
Yeah.
what Jabari does.
But if I need a late game stop, I need Kessler on the floor.
Yeah, honestly,
So
Kessler.
it depends. It depends how you're looking at it.
His perimeter defense is just as good, just about as his interior defense, just because he's so long. He like lets people blow by him so he can block them.
Unpopular, very, very unpopular opinion. You may not agree with it.
Let's see.
Dylan Cardwell has better perimeter defense than Kessler.
I agree with it actually. Cardwell out there gets his hands down and gets like the full length extension, and he's out there and he's set in like a linebacker stance, looking like Lester Hayes for the Raiders from back in like the 80s, the way he'd line up like in front of receivers with his hands out. He's a monster. He also has like really quick hands and gets a ton of steals. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of Cardwell's like outside the paint defense. Now, inside the paint, Cardwell actually sometimes struggles. He tries to get these blocks.
He gets bodied a lot.
He tries to get blocks, and he's really good at getting blocks, but sometimes it's just like somebody's
like,
up.
Sheboy
there and doing
Sheboy had a field day against Cardwell.
But Cardwell saved us against Bama. He played really good against Bama, but
he had to.
Like Sheboy,
we don't win Bama. Forget we don't win Bama without Jabari. We don't beat Bama without Cardwell.
Yeah, we don't. Cardwell was an
nothing against Stretch. I just don't think Stretch could have done that.
Not at all. And
he would have had something. He would have had some rebounds and some blocks. But I don't think he has the lights out.
Anytime Stretch has been in this year, he shot like a 3.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
In like
he shoots him in warm-ups too.
And he shoots 3s only.
Sitting there watching him in warm-ups, he's out there shooting 3s. And I'm sure you can imagine what's happening. He's missing them.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
He may make one.
He's trying to play literal to his nickname, trying to be the stretch 5, but he's not.
Oh, and Bruce said when he came in that he was a stretch 5, but I don't know where that is. I haven't seen it.
And they said Kessler was a stretch 5, and Kessler, I want Kessler to keep shooting just because once he makes them, it does make defenses have to respect it. Well,
I can agree with that.
But if he makes a few of them, that makes the defense have to respect him out there. And so I do like him taking those shots and just let Jabari and Cambridge go in there and rebound. And
I can agree with that.
Keeps him away from maybe shoving somebody down low and fouling or something like that. But, yeah, Auburn, I think, should run the table, in all honesty.
I see it happening.
Well, let's hope so. Any last thoughts?
I don't think you see another game like tonight the rest of the season.
I don't think
the rest of
in terms of how bad we're shooting. I could see more close games. But shooting.
Yeah, I'm not saying close. I'm saying shooting wise, I don't think you see another game like that the rest of the regular season.
That may be the worst shooting game I've seen under Bruce Pearl since that Final Four team.
That was the first time we've won with that low of a winning percentage in 10 years.
That low of a shooting percentage, you mean?
Yeah.
Dadgum. So that's the first time under Bruce in general.
Yeah, Bruce has been here 8 years.
Yeah. I was saying at least since that 2018 team, because that's really when I started paying attention to basketball, was the year that Bryce Brown's first year. So the year before we went to the Final Four and all that. That
wasn't Bryce's first year.
He wasn't a freshman that year.
Bryce's freshman year.
He was a junior the championship year.
He was a senior the Final Four year.
You're right.
Bryce's freshman year was 2015-2016 season.
Yeah.
Because he was on the team. He was on that team with Simeon Bowers.
You're right.
And Kareem Canty that beat Kentucky.
I didn't have a way to.
I know that because I watched that game the week of the Kentucky game.
I didn't have a way to pay attention to him that year. It was hard enough to find Auburn football down in Brazil, but Auburn basketball is unheard of. Then I started hearing a little bit of buzz about Bryce and stuff. Paid attention to him kind of his sophomore year. His junior year is what I meant, is the first year that I kind of like actually – did we make the tournament that year? We did. And we lost to
We made the tournament.
And we lost to Clemson.
Oh, we didn't lose to Clemson. We got blown out by Clemson. We didn't just lose to it.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing.
That was the first year that
But
I
hey,
paid attention.
You know what happened the next year.
And so I guess I'm saying since that Final Four team, that was the year that I like really tuned into Auburn basketball and was like watching every game. Since that team, I've never seen a shooting performance that bad since I've fully been paying attention. And so I guess if it didn't happen that bad during Bruce's first 4 years, then that was, I guess, the worst since Barbie.
Probably. It's the worst in 10 years.
And I think that's a statement of this team that we still won on the road, shooting that bad with the number one target on our backs. And you know how much pressure that is, knowing that in a game that you're playing bad in. I don't think that it affects us if we're playing fine, but once we're down the day after we get it and we're down in the fourth quarter with like 2 minutes left, that's like, crap, we're about to lose the number one. Because that's all I could think about. I was mad.
Yeah.
I was not pleased. So you know that the players were thinking about it. And I think that that's where Katie Johnson really showed. And I liked what Fish said on the broadcast. He said that Kessler and Jabari may be the arms and legs, but I think that Katie really is the heart of the team, like just the energy guy that everybody feeds off of him. When he gets fired up, that fires the team. It's like having the home court crowd effect playing with you. You know what I'm saying? Him getting fired up is like the home crowd going crazy to like I don't remember if it was Bruce or who it was after the Ole Miss game. They had to have been Bruce, unless they asked the player this question in the press conference. They said, "What changed defensively?" And whoever answered the question, I think Bruce said, they all started playing defense like KD. Yeah, they started playing with their like hair on fire.
It was crazy, but I to wrap it up, yes, I see us running the table the rest of the year.
As do I. So that's going to be it for this edition of the War Eagle War Room. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple, as that's where our podcasts and stuff will be. And we just post a lot of random stuff throughout the days of the week on Instagram. So follow us there too. Again, that's War Eagle War Room. And this was Coleman and Baxter signing off. War Eagle.
War Eagle.